My friends, we live in a world that worships the feeling of the moment. We are told from a young age to follow our hearts, to do what feels right, and to listen to our inner voice. But there is a dangerous lie hidden in that advice. If you only work when you feel motivated, if you only show up when you feel inspired, and if you only keep your promises when you feel energetic, you are not the master of your life. You are a slave to your chemistry. Your mood is a fickle companion. It is influenced by the weather, by how much sleep you got last night, by a passing comment from a stranger, or by the sugar levels in your blood. To build a life of significance on the foundation of a mood is like trying to build a skyscraper on a swamp. It will sink the moment the tide changes. The difference between those who achieve their wildest dreams and those who spend their lives wondering what if is not a difference in talent, luck, or even opportunity. It is the ability to bridge the gap between what they said they would do and what they actually do when the excitement of the initial idea has faded. We all know that surge of adrenaline when we set a New Year's resolution or start a new business venture. In that moment, the mood is high. We feel invincible. We write down the plan with bold strokes. But then, Tuesday morning arrives. It's raining. The coffee is cold. You're tired. And suddenly, the plan you wrote with such conviction feels like a burden. This is the crossroads of destiny. This is where most people fail. They wait for the feeling to return, not realizing that the feeling is a reward for the work, not a prerequisite for it. If you want to reach the summit, you must stop checking the weather of your soul every 5 minutes. You must stop asking yourself, do I feel like doing this? Because the answer will often be number. The human brain is wired for comfort and survival, not for greatness and expansion. Your brain will always try to talk you out of the hard thing because the hard thing requires energy, and energy expenditure feels like a threat to your biological comfort. When you follow your plan, you are operating from the prefrontal cortex, the seat of human logic, vision, and intention. When you follow your mood, you are operating from the primal parts of your brain that only care about safety and immediate gratification. To follow your plan is to be truly human. To follow your mood is to remain an animal. Think about the people you admire most. Think about the elite athletes, the master musicians, the visionary entrepreneurs. Do you think a gold medalist only trained on the days they felt up for it? Do you think the surgeon performing a 12-hour life-saving operation relies on their mood to stay focused? They rely on the architecture of their discipline. They have built a system that functions independently of their internal weather. They have made a contract with themselves that is not subject to renegotiation. When you negotiate with your mood, you lose your power. You give away your agency. You become a leaf in the wind, tossed about by every passing shadow. But when you stick to the plan, you become the wind. You become the force that moves the world. The plan is your map through the fog of emotion. It is the cold, hard truth you told yourself when you were thinking clearly. It represents your highest self, your ambitions, and your love for your future family. Your mood, on the other hand, represents your smallest self, the part of you that wants to stay under the covers, the part of you that is afraid of failure, and the part of you that seeks the cheap dopamine of distraction. Every time you choose the plan over the mood, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. You are building character, which is simply the ability to carry out a worthy resolution long after the emotion with which it was made has passed. We must learn to treat our moods like the weather. If you have a meeting across town and it starts to rain, you don't cancel the meeting and say, "I'll wait until it's sunny to do business." You grab an umbrella and you go. Your internal state should be no different. You can feel tired and still run. You can feel anxious and still give the presentation. You can feel uninspired and still write the first page. The feeling does not have to go away for the action to take place. In fact, The quickest way to change a bad mood is to take the action you're avoiding. Action is the cure for despair. Movement is the antidote to stagnation. When you follow the plan despite your mood, you eventually drag your mood along with you. By the end of the workout, you feel great. By the end of the work session, you feel accomplished. The plan is the leader. The mood is the follower. Never let the follower take the wheel. The transition from being a creature of impulse to a person of purpose requires a total shift in how you view the concept of commitment. Commitment is not a feeling. It is a clinical, mechanical adherence to a predetermined path. If you look at the architecture of a bridge, it doesn't stay standing because it feels like it. It stays standing because it is anchored into the bedrock. Your plan is that bedrock. When we talk about following the plan over the mood, we are talking about the sanctity of your word to yourself. Every time you break a promise to yourself because you don't feel like it, you are performing a small act of self-betrayal. You are telling your subconscious mind that your goals are negotiable, that your vision is secondary to your comfort, and that your word means nothing. Over time, this erodes your self-esteem until you no longer even believe in your own capacity to change. This is why so many people are stuck in a cycle of mediocrity. They have trained themselves to believe that their mood is the ultimate authority. But you must realize that your mood is a liar. It will tell you that you're too tired when you actually have reserves of energy you haven't even tapped into. It will tell you that you're not ready when the only way to get ready is to start. It will tell you that tomorrow is a better time, ignoring the fact that tomorrow is a mystical land where 99% of all human potential goes to die. The plan, however, is honest. The plan doesn't care about your excuses. The plan is a set of instructions designed by your most intelligent self to guide your least motivated self. When you are in the middle of the struggle, you are not in a position to evaluate the plan. You are in the trenches. A soldier in the trenches doesn't stop to debate the general's strategy in the heat of battle, they execute. You must become your own general and your own soldier. In the quiet moments of reflection, you design the strategy. In the heat of the day, you execute without question. The world is designed to cater to your moods. Social media, junk food, and endless entertainment are all engineered to give you a temporary high, to distract you from the fact that you aren't following your plan. They want you to stay in a state of emotional reactivity because a person who reacts is easy to control. A person who follows a plan is dangerous to the status quo. A person who follows a plan is predictable only to themselves and unpredictable to their enemies. If you want to achieve something that only 1% of the population achieves, you must be willing to do what 99% of the population won't do: work when you are bored. Boredom is the ultimate filter for greatness. Most people can work when it's exciting. Most people can put in effort when the lights are on and the crowd is cheering. But can you do it in the dark? Can you do it when the silence is deafening and the progress is invisible? Following the plan means embracing the monotony. It means falling in love with the grind of the daily repetition. Think about the concept of identity. Your identity is not who you say you are. It is what you do consistently. If you only exercise when you're in the mood, you are not an athlete. You are a person who exercises occasionally. If you only write when you're inspired, you are not a writer. You are a hobbyist. To become the professional, the master, the elite version of yourself, you must divorce your actions from your emotions. This divorce is the most liberating thing you will ever experience. When you no longer have to ask yourself, how do I feel about doing this? You save an immense amount of mental energy. You stop the internal tug of war. You simply see that it is 6:00 a.m. You see that the plan says run, and you put on your shoes. There is no debate. There is no trial. The verdict was reached when the plan was created. By removing the element of choice in the moment, you gain the ultimate freedom of long-term achievement. We often mistake motivation for a constant flame, but it is actually a spark. You use the spark to light the fire, but the fire is kept burning by the logs of discipline. If you keep waiting for a new spark every morning, you will spend most of your life in the cold. You must learn to operate in the absence of heat. There will be seasons in your life where the plan feels heavy, where the goal seems distant, and where your mood is a dark cloud hanging over everything you do. In these seasons, the plan is your only lifeline. It is the lighthouse that keeps you from crashing into the rocks of despair. When you are grieving, when you are heartbroken, when you are frustrated, follow the plan. Not because you think it will make you feel better instantly, but because it provides the structure that keeps your life from falling apart. Routine is the safety net of the soul. Success is a game of attrition. It is about who can stay on the path the longest without being distracted by the shiny objects of temporary pleasure or the shadows of temporary pain. Your moods are just shadows. They have no substance. They cannot physically stop you from moving your arms and legs. They cannot prevent you from opening your laptop or picking up the phone. They only have the power you give them through your attention. If you ignore a mood, it eventually withers and dies. If you feed a mood with reasons why you can't work, it grows into a monster that will eventually consume your future. You must be ruthless with your feelings. You must tell your mood, I hear you, I acknowledge you, but you don't get a vote in what we do today. This is the hallmark of maturity. Children do what feels good. Adults do what is necessary. If you want to lead a life of impact, you must grow past the childhood of emotional dominance and move into the adulthood of disciplined planning. The final layer of this philosophy is the realization that your plan is actually an act of self-love. We often view discipline as a form of punishment, as if we are being a harsh taskmaster to ourselves. But in reality, following your plan is the highest form of respect you can show to your own potential. When you follow your mood, you are choosing the you of right now, the one who is tired or lazy over the you of 10 years from now, who will have to live with the consequences of your inaction. To follow the plan is to advocate for your future self. It is a way of saying, I care enough about my dreams to protect them from my temporary weaknesses. You are building a legacy, brick by brick, and the plan is the blueprint that ensures those bricks actually form a house instead of a random pile of debris. You must understand that the resistance you feel, that heavy, sinking feeling in your gut when it is time to do the work, is actually a compass. That resistance is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that you are at the edge of your comfort zone. Growth only happens at that edge. If you only ever do what is easy and what you feel like doing, you will stay exactly where you are. The mood of discomfort is the price of admission for a life of excellence. If you can learn to recognize that resistance and say, there it is, that means I'm on the right track, you transform your greatest enemy into your greatest coach. You begin to seek out the work that you don't feel like doing because you know that is where the power is hidden. Every time you conquer a mood, you gain a level in the game of life. You become stronger, sharper, and more resilient for the next battle. Consider the compounding effect of these choices. If you follow your mood and skip your tasks just 2 days a week, that is over 100 days a year where you have made no progress. Over a decade, that is 1,000 days of lost potential. That is the difference between being a master and being a beginner. The plan accounts for the long game. It understands that greatness is not the result of one massive explosion of effort, but the result of thousands of tiny, boring, disciplined actions that no one sees and no one cheers for. The world sees the trophy, but the plan saw the 400 a.m. workouts in the freezing cold. The world sees the published book, But the plan saw the 3 hours of writing every night when the author wanted to watch television. You must value the process more than the prize, because the process is the only thing you can actually control. You cannot control the outcome, but you can always control your adherence to the plan. As you move forward from this moment, I want you to stop asking yourself how you feel. Instead, ask yourself, what is the next step on the list? Reduce your life to the next 5 minutes. Don't worry about the mountain you have to climb tomorrow. Just worry about the step the plan requires right now. When you break the plan down into manageable pieces, the mood becomes irrelevant because the task is too small to be intimidating. You don't need motivation to walk 10 feet. You don't need inspiration to write 1 sentence. And yet, if you keep taking those small steps and writing those single sentences, you will eventually find that you have traveled miles and written volumes. The plan is the bridge between your current reality and your ultimate vision. If you step off the bridge because the wind of emotion starts to blow, you will never reach the other side. You must stay on the path, eyes fixed forward, feet moving in rhythm. There will be people in your life who will try to pull you back into the world of moods. They will say, "Take it easy, you work too hard," or "It's okay to skip just this once." They mean well, but they are the voices of the average. They are the voices of those who have negotiated away their own greatness for the sake of comfort. You must be careful who you listen to. Surround yourself with people who hold you to your plan, not people who validate your excuses. Seek out the company of those who understand that a life of meaning is a life of sacrifice. You are sacrificing your current comfort for your future freedom. That is a trade worth making every single day. When you look back at your life from the vantage point of old age, you will not remember the naps you took or the shows you binged. You will remember the times you pushed through the pain. You will remember the pride you felt when you looked in the mirror and knew you had kept your word. This is the ultimate secret of the high achievers. They have turned their discipline into a habit and their habits into their nature. Eventually, following the plan becomes easier than following the mood. You reach a point of automaticity where the work just happens because that is who you are. The initial struggle is just the escape velocity required to break free from the gravity of your old emotional self. Once you break that orbit, you will find a sense of peace and clarity that the mood followers can never understand. You will find that true happiness doesn't come from doing what is easy. It comes from doing what is hard and doing it well. It comes from the deep, quiet satisfaction of knowing that you are the captain of your soul and the master of your fate. So, starting today, let the plan be your law. Let it be the unwavering North Star of your existence. When you wake up and the voices of doubt and lethargy begin to whisper in your ear, silence them with the sound of your own footsteps moving toward your goals. Do not argue with your feelings. They are not worthy of your debate. Do not wait for a sign from the universe. The plan is your sign. You have the vision, you have the roadmap, and you have the strength to execute. The only thing left to do is to show up. Not just today, not just when it's convenient, but every single day until the job is done. Follow your plan, not your mood, and watch as the life you once only dreamed of begins to take shape before your very eyes. You are capable of more than you know, but you will only discover that capacity through the fire of discipline. Go forth and be the person you promised you would be.